Taking a look at what is happening in different counties and also across the country. But then, speaking of counties, we do start with Nakuru.
Oh yeah, Chichi Josephine Pointman in Kuru County is ready to give us an update. Very good morning to you, Chichi. What can you tell us from Nakuru town?
Well, Fred, a very good morning to you. Yes, indeed, we are coming live to you from Nakuru town, and we're talking matters of femicide and controversy, suspense and mystery trail aspect of incidents of femicide in the country, with the latest one being the gruesome murder of a 20-year-old in a rented room in Roysambu. It is an incident that has, of course, elicited heated debate in the public. But, of course, the question remains, Fred and Stan, where have we failed as society? Why are we experiencing a rise of femicide cases in Kenya? And who is to blame for these bloody atrocities? I am here just to get to locals and more especially to the human rights defenders in this particular county to tell me what they think about this whole matter, and also try to get some answers to the many questions that Kenyans are having in regards to this particular matter. Let me begin with you, Bwana Cosmas. I understand that you are a human rights defender in this particular county, but we've seen so many cases of femicide cases being on the rise, more especially in Kenya. What do you think? Where are we failing as a society, and what is the problem so far?
My name is Cosmas Mutua, Director of in Life and also Secretary in Kuru Reproductive Health Network. We want to instruct the stamp to condemn this act of femicide. It's quite unfortunate because nobody deserves to die. Nobody is too holy to live, and nobody is too sinful to die such a painful death. So it's quite unfortunate that is rising. The cases are rising day in, day out. But my urge is, especially for the Airbnb owners, to ensure that they put adequate security measures. Because like when you go to a hotel, you find that the details are taken for every client, which is a good thing and which is a good security measure. And also number two is, I also want to urge our ladies, our young ladies, both old and young, to be very vigilant, because it's quite unfortunate. You meet someone on social media, then the next time you are meeting in private is quite unfortunate. So we have to be very, very vigilant on who we are dating. We know we are social human beings are social beings, and the rest. So we need to have personal responsibility to ensure that you know the person you are dating, and you are meeting with anyone. Ensure that your security is paramount. Your security comes number one. Yes. And do you
who is to blame in all these bloody atrocities? According to you, are a human rights defender. Yes. Who is to blame?
To me, number one is about the perpetrators, because it's quite unfortunate. People have turned to be animals. You are just killing people all the way and the rest. Number two, who is to blame is also the owners of these institutions, the Airbnb, because it means that the security lapses. Most of the time you find that if a client goes to Airbnb, you even don't see the owner of the facility. You are told go and pick some keys somewhere and all the rest. So I think I'm also to blame the owners of the Airbnb, because they need to take details of all the clients. And also, before a client exits the facility, they need to have a check, like a security officer to go and check whether everything is okay and everyone is okay. So I think that's a big gap. And also the other thing, the security personnel. We have Ministry of Interior. They need also to be vigilant. They need to take some audit of this Airbnb to ensure that the ones that will be allowed to operate are the ones that have adequate security measures. Number three is also about the individuals who go to those facilities. You meet someone, as I said, on social media, you are meeting the other time, the next minute you are meeting. So it's about personal security. You should ensure that you know the person who you are meeting. Number two, we also need to, I want to urge our young ladies to be able to look for other sources of getting income. You don't need to engage in such issue going for sexual favors and the rest to earn money. So look for something that is more decent to do, so that you don't need to engage yourself in to expose yourself into such a situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cosmos. Bwana Martin Lunalo, you are a human rights defender. I understand all this is happening, and especially we have seen cases of femicide rising in Kenya. What do you think? And I will ask you a question that I asked Cosmos. What do you think? Who is to blame for this?
I'm aware of what is happening, and I want to condemn it. That it's not something we'll want to appreciate as a country. As a government, I think it's very important for us to think of how will the government regulate the Airbnb businesses. Are they regulated? Do we have any policy or guidelines on how that should be taken into account? What Cosmos says is very clear, that it's very important for us to have this regulation done, and the government should put into place mechanisms to ensure that the security of not only the clients but also the owners of this Airbnb is taken into consideration. Number two, the society itself. How do we make sure that we are sensitizing our young women to understand that the perpetrators are outside here? And how do we make that business safer? Because I cannot say that they should stop. What I'm saying is that these are businesses that people are doing, and we don't need to condemn them because of the business, but now the outcome of the business is what we are condemning here. So as human rights defenders, we are just saying, can the government take lead in this? We need to see thorough investigations. We need to see people put into records. We want to see these guys arrested and taken to the justice system. We saw even what happened in Rivayala, when we collected a lot of bodies. But up to now, we've never had the accountability from the institution telling us that now we have put these people in book. We've realized these are the perpetrators of these killings. So in this country, I want to say that it's enough for us to be condemning. Let us see justice taking place, taking shape, moving forward. So our young women also, let us take charge of ourselves. If you meet people online dating is not bad. But when you meet people online, who are these people? Can you check their profile? Who is this person that you are going to meet up with? Again, whom are you telling? You need to have at least a backup plan. If I'm going to meet someone I don't know in an Airbnb, who is a backup plan outside this room? So I'm talking to people to tell them to kindly make sure that you are taking sure that your security is put into consideration even before going there. The problem we are having is that most of the young people will want to do these things in secret. Most of the women are doing them in secret. And then this happens, even the families are not aware where their children are. So I think we need to put this in humanities into records. We need to ensure that the DCI is doing their responsibility. We want to see the criminal investigators putting to record. We have heard that people are coming all the way from Nigeria. How did they even get into this country? Did they even record? Did the country take the record of these people? Do they have their profiles? What other businesses do they do? Or could this be one of the reasons to why we will want to say that we do not want to be a visa-free country? Are we opening an avenue of injustices? Are we opening an avenue of criminal offenders who are coming and running to this country to do illegal businesses? So I think this is the things that we need to ask a tough question to this government.
Mr. Lunalo, do you think the society has also moved relationships to being transactional?
I cannot say that the society has moved the relationships to be transactional. I can just say that things are changing, and the way people will want to enjoy their own sexual lives is upon them. But again, as a community, as a society, what kind of lessons are we giving to our people? Is it enough to see our young girls running for businesses that might not be as sustainable as we would want them to look like? Is it okay for us to celebrate when we see such things happening? So what are the learnings are we getting from this? I think I'll repeat and say the justice system should be taken into account. We want to see if such cases are taken, how are they prosecuted? So the prosecution must be taken into consideration. For me, it's not about the society. For me, it's about the governance of this country. How are we administering security apart from just condemning in the media? The way I'm condemning it today, you will see even the cabinet for interior, Mr. Kindiki, saying the same thing. So if the cabinet secretary can condemn the way we are condemning, then in whose hands are we safe? If the government itself is complaining, then what could the citizen do? So I'm calling upon the government, the interior, the Minister of Interior, the prosecution side, the judges and the judiciary. Can we make sure that our our justice system is put into space where everyone, including those who are coming in this country, feels that it is safe.
Thank you so much, Bwana Lonalo. Therefore, Fred and Stan, those are, of course, locals, and of course, they are defenders, or rather human rights defenders from this county. Of course, they also run advocacies on defending women's rights. I understand that they have spoken a lot concerning this particular matter, but also to give an outline of some cases that I am aware of that have happened, especially in Kuru and some other parts of Nakuru, is that we have had the case of Jasmine Njoki, a 12-year-old who was murdered in Nakuru in September last year. We also have the case of Laura Kwisira, who was murdered or shot 5 times in December last year. We also have Phyllis Jepleting, a university student who was killed here in Nakuru in January last year. We also have the case of an Olympic medalist, Agnes Tirop, murdered in the year 2021. We also have the case of Ivy Wangeshi, who was a medical student at Moi University, who was murdered in the year 2019. It is so unfortunate, but even as cameras keep rolling to give focus to this particular issue, we also have to create awareness to bring a meaningful change, or rather a meaningful change to this whole matter. That is all we have from Nakuru County. For now, allow me hand over to Fred and Stan. From here, my name is Chichi Josephine.
Thank you so much, Chichi Josephine, our reporter in Nakuru. And yes, indeed, a big discussion even on the national stage. It is what is leading in all the main dailies today. The issue of those gruesome murders of young Kenyan women.
Oh, yes.
Where next do we go?
In Nyahururu, in Laikipia County, the whole conversation we were having earlier on matters, the marriage contracts, remember that particular question of the day. And Laban Muhinda is Laban, habari za leo. What do wakazi wanasema siri ya ndoa ni nini pale?
A very good morning to you, Stanley Nyaringita. Ninakupata kwa njia ya mbashara zaidi nikiwa hapa mjini Nyahururu, huku ni kaunti ya Laikipia. Na leo tukilizamia swala hili la jinsi gani mtu anaweza kutunza uhusiano wake. Ningependa kupata mawaidha ya mama ambaye amekuwa katika uhusiano zaidi ya miaka 20. Atueleze ni siri gani au ni njia gani yeye hutumia ili kuweza kutunza uhusiano wake. Karibu ndani ya TV47, kisha baadaye uanze kwa majina na utupe siri yako ni gani katika njia ya kutunza uhusiano.
Okay, asante sana, nashukuru kwa sababu ya hii nafasi nimepewa. Majina yangu naitwa Jane Winnie Njehia. Mimi ni mama ambaye ni mkaaji wa hapa Nyahururu, Laikipia County. Pia bali na kuwa mama, mimi pia ni mshauri. Nashauri mambo ya ndoa na mambo ya uhusiano, na ndio ninashukuru kwa sababu ya hii nafasi nimepewa, ndio nipeane siri kama alivyosema kuhusu vile mtu anaweza ku-maintain relationship yake katika ndoa. Mimi am a witness that it is possible. Yale mambo inaonekana kama sio possible, ninaweza kusema it is possible kwa sababu mimi binafsi nime-maintain ndoa yangu more than 20 years. Jambo la kwanza ambalo ningetaka kuongelea na mtazamaji ni ya kwamba ni lazima mtu ajiamini. Ujiamini katika ndoa yako. Ujiamini ya kwamba you are the best. Ukijua ya kwamba you are the best, hata pia ujue huyo mwenzako pia yeye ndio the best kwako. Ukijua hiyo mambo na pia upendo ule wa kweli, utaweza kukaa vizuri katika ndoa. Sana sana kuna kuwa na changamoto na the young generation ambaye wanaingia katika marriage. When I am talking to the young mothers, ninawaambiaga ya kwamba ni lazima watie bidii. Relationship ni jukumu ya saidi zote mbili, saidi ya mama na saidi ya mwanaume. Sana sana saidi ya mama. Maandiko ya Mungu inasema mama ambaye ni mwerefu yeye ndio hujenga boma yake. Kwa hivyo tukiongelea on the women perspective, it is the duty of the lady to take care of the relationship. Kwa nini ninasema hivyo? Kwa sababu mama amepewa hekima ya tofauti ya kuweza kushuga boma kutoka yule mnyama ako kwa nyumba, hata kama ni paka, pia ng'ombe, pia mume wake na pia watoto. Kwa hivyo mama akitia bidii na ajiamini ya kwamba inawezekana, ataweza kutunza uhusiano wake mzuri katika ndoa. Jambo la pili ni ku-embrace the things that add value to the relationship. Kuna yale mambo yanaongeza dhamana katika relationship. Jambo ya kwanza ni kutafuta marafiki ambaye hawatakupoteza. Tunaona ya kwamba relationship nyingi zinaharibika kwa sababu ya marafiki abaya wanaingia katikati, wanakuja wanapeana long information. So it is a duty of every one of us to embrace the threads that add value. Kama ni yale mambo hayana value, marafiki hao tunaweka kado. Jambo lingine, usiwashe doa yako igiriliwe na mtu wa katikati, iwe ni mzazi, iwe ni brother ama sister. Ujue ya kwamba relationship ni yako wewe mwenyewe, it is for the two to maintain. Wakati tunaona mtu wa katikati anaingia, tunakuta mambo yanaharibika. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kushauri watu, ukitaka kukaa na relationship mzuri katika doa, ujiamini kwanza, upalilie ama weke effort kwa kutunza hiyo doa yako. Pia utafute wale marafiki ambao watakusaidia kuongeza dhamana katika uhusiano wako na bwana yako. Jambo la mwisho kabisa, tunasema ya kwamba ni lazima utafute maarifa kutoka Biblia. Tafuta maarifa kutoka kwa Mungu. Kwa sababu chanzo cha hekima ni kumwogopa Mungu. Mama ambaye anataka kuweka doa yake vizuri, ni lazima amuogope Mungu, ni lazima aende na mienendo ambaye iko transparent. Usiende kufanya mambo ambaye bwana yako hajui. Kuwa transparent kwa kila jambo unajua. For example, tuseme ni mambo ya pesa, umepata katika kikundi ya wamama. Ni lazima ukuwe transparent, uambie bwana yako niko na pesa kiasi fulani, hata kama hutataja the amount, na ndio hiyo mambo mkipaga mpagie ile pesa inapatikana. So jambo lile muhimu sana ni kukuwa transparent and accountability kwa ile mambo yote unafanya katika doa, na ili usije ukakwase bwana yako ili asiweze akakushukia. Mimi hiyo ndio ningesema. Na
ningependa kwa sekunde 10 uweze kumzungumzia yule kijana pale nje ambaye anataka kuanzisha uhusiano. Mzungumzie yule kijana mchana.
Yule kijana, okay, asante sana. Pia mimi ni mama wa vijana, niko na vijana wakubwa na pia huwa ninawazungumzia. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kuongelea na hiyo kijana ako nje ambaye anataka kutafuta uhusiano wa doa. Niseme ya kwamba kijana ni lazima atafute yule mtu anaona ako na mienendo mizuri. Asikue attracted kwa mambo ile inaonekana, tuseme mahubiri ya mwili, maguo, magari. Angalie ule utajiri huko katika moyo wa huyo mwanamke, diposa aweze kuchukua lile jambo ambalo ni valuable. Kwa sababu mambo hii mengine ya nje hiyo hayana maana, lakini mtu ni yule wa ndani, mwenye huruma, mwenye ako na utu wema, mwenye ana furaha, huyo atafutwe, huyo ndio ningesema. Yeah.
Naam, shukrani sana Stanley. Kama vile ambavyo umesikia, siri ya kutunza uhusiano ni jukumu la upande wote, upande wa mwanaume na upande pia wa kina dada, ili waone kuwa ili mtu aweze kuona kuwa uhusiano wake umedumu zaidi ya miaka mingi zaidi, lazima kila mmoja aweze kujukumika. Kutoka kwangu mie Laban Muhinda, nikiwa hapa mjini Nyahururu, huku ni kaunti ya Laikipia. Sina la ziada la kuregesha usukani kwako Stanley.
Asante sana Laban Muhinda. Huyo mwanamke anasema usiangalie umbile, look at the heart. Sheila, do you copy?
I copy. Roger that.
So Sheila,
welcome back.
Is here with the latest in as far as the nationwide diary is concerned. We gave them a diary earlier on. There's so much more happening today.
Yes.
And we just need to know what the TV47 newsroom is up to this morning.
Yes. We will be looking forward to following up on the Shakahola massacre story. Today, the 95 suspects will be arraigned before the Shanzu court. The Shanzu court now deals with issues terrorism, and they will be facing about 3 counts in relation to terrorism in accordance with the Prevention of Terrorism Act and Prevention of Organized Crime as well. Yesterday we saw them at the Malindi High Court for matters related murder, and they faced about 191 counts related to murder and minors. So from the mental assessment checks that were required yesterday, maybe we will see some of that today as well as they get into Shanzu.
Right.
Okay. So we do expect them to be taking plea today?
Yes, at Shanzu Court.
All right. And still in matters courts, Deputy President is also expected to present a petition.
Now, it is that point of cometh the day, cometh the hour. We probably hope that at 2:15 p.m. exactly that he will be, filing his petition against the judge Esther Maina in court. Pundits talking about, how this, is bringing the rift between the three arms of government. They should be working each independently. It will be good to see will he really keep his word that at 2:15 exactly, we will see that petition come forth.
And the question has been, because any such complaint against a judicial officer should be filed before the Judicial Service Commission. And there are those who are saying that the Deputy President will be filing his petition in court. So a clarity on that?
In as much as that is happening, because, the Chief Justice Martha Koome did come out and say if anyone has a complaint, then you can file with the Judicial Service Commission. Ideally, that is the procedure that should be followed. If you have any complaint against any judicial officer, against anyone in the judiciary, well, filing it in court really begs the question, why it's as though they're fighting each other. Then it is now why everyone is really waiting to see what will happen. And then number two, if they do go for the talks, then do we throw away the whole petition, So it's a wait and see.
Right.
Right.
And well, speaking about the three arms of the government, the Kenya Kwanza government is expected to, present their achievements today via the government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura. As someone, even in the newsroom, what are some of those achievements that should really be topping the list, and also what are the mishaps that probably we should be, eyeing and taking a look at for the 16 months the government? They promised this, but not yet delivered.
They have been in office, rightly as you've put it, for 16 months. And I think one of the things that they really pride themselves is probably the availability of over 5,000 government service on digital platform. That is one thing I'm sure is really on their success books. And also the implementation of affordable housing. We've seen the president tour various parts of the country and launching these, projects and having them. And so we expect Isaac Mwaura to give us probably a detailed analysis of what the government has done. Petroli ilishuka. It is now less 5
They're going to list it as one of the achievements?
Yes, it is at this point.
This is a point where you go for all the wins possible. Whatever looks like a win, you go for it.
Yes, and I think they pride themselves in a lot because they have also launched the UHC. We saw that in Kericho during the Mashujaa Day celebrations. In as much as probably the implementation phase is yet to, we are yet to see the fruits being, looking maybe glamorous and all that. We're yet to see the fruits, but at least there has been some sort of, guidance in the way that these projects will be rolled out. Okay, and
there's this issue that has been, it's on all the front pages today, and that is the issue of Rita Waini, the young girl who was murdered and her body mutilated somewhere in a rented house in Roysambu. It is what we've been talking about all morning. And one may wonder, what are we following up on? We heard that someone was arrested at the airport. We're still yet to see this individual presented before court. And you're wondering what will be the follow-up today? Because everyone is talking about it.
Yes. Now, sources privy to TV47 actually did state that the suspect arrested at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport might not really have been the one. He was taken before court yesterday, the Makadara Law Court. However, detectives found out that he had nothing to do with, the murder. So he was charged on not having the right documentations to be in the country. However, with that, still, there have been other suspects who are already in custody. And detectives say that it is too early to confirm if they really did participate in the murder of Rita Waini Mwendo. Today, we expect to have the postmortem conducted, postmortem exercise. Right. It has really delayed because it ought to have been done on Monday. The issue that is delaying the process is the verification of her fingerprints because it is a body without a head. So really, identifying her will take some time. Tricky, Yes, so that is the process that we expect to see today. Other than that, the family already spoke yesterday, and they've described her as someone who was very caring, kind, spirited, and
very
so
ambitious.
they really, at this point, they just want, accountability and the truth to prevail.
And closure on the same. Let's talk party politics now. And after a whole week of being and camping in the Western region, ODM party leader Raila Odinga will be presiding over a ceremony, and also from the newsroom, what is this ceremony really at the ODM headquarters? What should we be expecting? What's the big announcement today?
Well, I do not think there's such a big announcement, but it's just party matters. We have seen a lot of defections in the ODM, Orange Democratic Party, for instance, Farah Maalim. And I think today Raila Odinga might address that in length, as well as now the issue of executive and the judiciary. He has been very vocal about it. And we might also see him speak about, matters, the economy, as usual. So, but most importantly, it is the issue on defections and just keeping, what would we call it? A housekeeping?
Okay. And plus, this comes with the backdrop of the whole week there have been the party grassroots. And we were having this conversation with Fred earlier, but then how vocal have, this particular party grassroots been. They had earlier disbanded the whole elections committee and decided that for the whole counties, these particular elections for the parties will be conducted individually in the counties. Next week, he's expected to kickstart in the coastal region, I believe in Lamu as of Monday, if I'm not wrong. This again now sets even for the housekeeping that you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Before we wrap up, let's talk matters football.
Your team.
You were here and you were supporting Tanzania.
We should have come with tissues.
It was only 3 goals.
Probably my pocket square might.
3 goals.
And they had a red card.
It will not suffice. Well, it was really sad. I was really expecting a lot, but I think the red card did throw us off a little bit, and the pressure of playing Morocco, a team that went into the semis. Was it the semis?
Yes.
Or the finals of the World Cup? Yes, so it might have been the pressures, but I really do hope that in the next, the Taifa boys can please.
Well, also I think we were expecting too much.
Oh yes, and I told you, this is one of those I told you guys.
For Tanzania to beat Morocco, probably we were hoping that what we saw Namibia do to Tunisia and other smaller footballing countries like Mali holding South Africa or beating South Africa. We're hoping that Tanzania would do that. It didn't happen. DR Congo, Zambia, at least they gave us a balance just to pacify the continent and say, okay, fine, there are teams that are neither here nor there.
However, today and tomorrow.
Oh yeah, big games coming up tonight, and at 5 p.m. Equatorial Guinea versus Guinea-Bissau, and many Kenyans may be forgiven if you can't tell the difference between Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, and they're still Guinea. So at 5 p.m. that game will happen, and but this one is interesting. At 8 p.m. Ivory Coast versus Nigeria. Who are you supporting here?
Well, Fred, we have just to tell you the truth.
So this
Nigeria gonna do it.
this is technically Afro vibes versus Lingala.
I can tell you for sure I'm with Ivory Coast all the way.
Lingala, some Lingala vibes.
We'll be here tomorrow to see if at all.
We just said no wahala, but
the late
Nigeria
game,
gonna do it.
Yes, and the very last game tonight, Egypt versus Ghana.
That's going to be an interesting.
Another big game.
Tough one.
Because both of them have showed their prowess even in previous AFCON games. So this one is going to be a tough one.
They say that, and this is just a rumor, that Mo Salah is keen on going back to try and help Liverpool succeed on the other end. So probably he might not give his best performance. But I think Egypt, being one of those long-standing African footballing nations and probably the African champion for many years, they stand a better chance against Ghana.
Absolutely. I feel so too.
I'm fearful for Onana come tomorrow, on Senegal. So
interesting. Oh yes, tomorrow Senegal versus Cameroon, but we'll not talk about that one today. We have enough with Ivory Coast and Nigeria, Egypt and Ghana.
Plate,
let's deal with today's problems today. So this is where we wrap it up for this edition of Morning Cafe. Thank you for keeping us company from 6 a.m. up until now. My name is Fred Ndimuli, wishing you a lovely day.
Oh yes, and I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyaringita. It is the 5th day of the 60 days of January.
I think they've added a few days to January. So today should be date 18.